Good morning grade 2, how is everyone? I hope all are doing good. Students, today we are going to continue with the same unit, which is unit 11, symmetry, and in today's lesson we are going to learn how to complete symmetrical shapes. It's a very interesting topic. I hope you all will enjoy this lesson. Students, in the last lesson we studied what is line of symmetry. Can you think and tell me what is the meaning of line of symmetry? Very good. A line of symmetry divides a shape or an object into two halves, and the two halves are mirror images. Okay, they are just the same. Now if you look at the picture of the star, there is a line of symmetry, and if you see both the sides, they are mirror images. Okay, so if you can fold a figure in half so that the two halves exactly match, then the figure is said to be symmetrical. Okay, when the two halves are the same, the figure is said to be symmetrical. Come on students, can you look at the slide and tell me which shapes can you see on this slide? Very good. We have a rectangle, we have a circle, we have a hexagon. Now every shape has got a line of symmetry. Okay, so these shapes are all symmetrical. Okay, now what do you mean by symmetrical? A shape is symmetrical if it has at least one line of symmetry. Okay children, any shape which has one or more lines of symmetry, that shape is said to be symmetrical. Come on students, let's start with today's lesson. Now, you can see a picture here on this slide. Okay, what does this picture look like? Which shapes can you see here? Very good, you can see that there are squares. Okay, now this is called a grid. What is it called? It is called grid. Okay, and we are going to learn how to complete symmetrical shapes on a grid when we have a line of symmetry. Okay, now what is a grid? A grid is where we have horizontal lines and vertical lines. Okay, that is sleeping lines and standing lines which cross each other to form squares. You can see that you have small squares. Okay, so this is called a grid. Okay, and now on the next slide we will learn how to complete symmetrical shapes when we have a line of symmetry. Let's start students. I hope everyone is ready. Now come on students, can you tell me what do you see on this slide? Very good, we can see that we have a grid, okay, which are the horizontal and vertical lines which make small squares. Okay, and what else do we see here? Very good, we can also see that there is a line of symmetry. The red line is the line of symmetry, and there is a shape. Now what we have to do is we have to complete the given symmetrical shape. Okay, which means that we are going to draw the other half of the shape. Okay, we already have half shape, and now we are going to draw the other half of the shape with the help of the line of symmetry. Okay students, we are going to learn how to draw the symmetrical shape, how to complete the symmetrical shape on the next slide. Come on students, let's start now. Now students, remember that whenever we have to complete symmetrical shapes, we have to follow 3 steps. Okay, keep in your mind. Step 1, we mark all the corners of the shape. Okay, and we number the corners in anti-clockwise. Okay, not in the clockwise. We go in the opposite direction of the clock, which is anti-clockwise. Okay, so if you look at this picture now, we can see that all the corners are marked. Can you keep your finger on the corners and count the numbers? Very good, let's start. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent children. So this shape has got 6 corners, and you can see that the points are marked, or the corners are marked in green, and we have given them numbers from 1 to 6. Okay, so step 1 is to mark the corners of the shape and to give them numbers in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, and then we will continue on the next slide. Come on students, now we are going to follow step 2. Okay, now what we have to do here in step 2, we are going to count the number of squares from the line of symmetry to each marking. Okay, now if you see marking 1 is on the line of symmetry, so we cannot count. Now if you see marking 2, okay, how many squares is it away from the line of symmetry? Count and tell me. Very good, it's 2 squares away from the line of symmetry. Okay, so now we are going to count the same number of squares on the other side of the line of symmetry and mark out the corner. Okay, so let's take point 2. Now 2 squares away from the line of symmetry. So on the other side, on the opposite side also, we are going to count 2 squares, and you can see that we have marked it as number 2 on the opposite side of the line of symmetry. Okay children, in the same way we will do for 3 and 4, and if you look here, number 5. Can you count and tell me how many squares is number 5 away from the line of symmetry? Come on, keep your finger and count the squares. Let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent children. So you can see that number 5 is marked on the other side of the line of symmetry, that is on the opposite side. Okay, and then we mark number 5. So this is how we follow step 2. Okay, we have to count the number of squares from the line of symmetry to each marking, and then we count the same number of squares on the other side of the line of symmetry, and we mark the corners. Alright students, now let's follow step 3. Okay, now if you see here that we have got all the corners of the shape on the opposite side of the line of symmetry. Okay, now step 3 is to join all the markings together in the correct order. Okay, you start from 1, then you join, go to 2, then you come to 3, 4, 5 and 6. In this way we are going to complete the given symmetrical shape. And what can you find here? Both the sides, they are symmetrical and they are reflections of each other. They are exactly the same in size. Okay, so this is how we complete the given symmetrical shape when we have a line of symmetry. Students, here we are going to solve the other example. Okay, can you tell me what do you find here on this slide? Very good, we have a given shape, we have a line of symmetry, and we have a grid. Excellent. Now, can we recollect what are the steps that we studied? We studied 3 steps, right? What is the first step? Very good. The first step we studied that we have to mark the corners in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so you can see that we have marked the corners here. Okay, keep your finger and let's start counting. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent children. You can see that this shape has got 8 corners. And what can you tell me about the line of symmetry here? Is it the same that we studied in the previous slide? Very good. The line of symmetry here is a horizontal line of symmetry. Okay, it's a sleeping line of symmetry. Now on the next slide, we are going to see how to follow step 2. All right, children? Come on students, now let's go to step 2. Can you think and tell me what did we study in step 2? Very good. In step 2 we have to count the number of squares from the line of symmetry to each marking. And then we count the same number of squares on the other side of the line of symmetry and mark out the corners. Now if you look here, number 1 and number 8, okay, they are on the line of symmetry, so we cannot do anything with that. Now let's go to number 2. Can you count and tell me that number 2 is how many squares away from the line of symmetry? Very good. It is 1 square away from the line of symmetry. So on the other side of the line of symmetry also, we are going to count 1 square. Okay, and we point and write number 2. Now let's go to number 5. Can you count and tell me how many squares is number 5 away from the line of symmetry? 1, 2. Excellent children. So on the opposite side of the line of symmetry also, we are going to count 2 squares and point it as number 5. What about number 7? How many squares is number 7 away from the line of symmetry? Very good. It is 1 square away from the line of symmetry. And you can see that on the opposite side also, we are going to write number 7 away from 1 square. Excellent children. And now you can see here that we have completed step 3. And we studied that in step 3, we have to join all the markings together in the correct order. And then we get the complete symmetrical shape. So you can see here that both the sides, okay, are same. And we have the line of symmetry which divides the shape into equal halves. So in this way, we have completed the symmetrical shape. Come on students, let's solve one more example, and this time you are going to help me. Come on. Now what can we see on this slide here? Very good. We have a line of symmetry. We have half of the shape. Okay, and we have a grid. Excellent children. And we have to complete the other half of the symmetrical shape. Now there is something different here. What is it? Look at the shape. What's wrong with this shape? Very good children. Now this shape is below the line of symmetry. Okay, in the previous example we saw that the shape was above the line of symmetry. Okay, but students, we have to follow the same steps, alright, to complete the symmetrical shape. So can you think and tell me what was step 1 that we studied? Very good. In step 1 we studied that we have to mark all the corners of the shape and number the corners in anti-clockwise direction. Excellent children. So let's start counting the corners of the shape. Keep your fingers on the shape. Let's start. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Excellent children. So this shape has got 12 corners. Students, now we are going to follow step 2. Come on, tell me, what is step 2? Very good. In step 2, we have to count the number of squares from the line of symmetry to each marking. And then we count the same number of squares on the other side of the line of symmetry and we mark the corners. Excellent, children. Now number 1 and number 12 are on the line of symmetry. So let's go to the next one. Come on, let's mark number 3 now. Can you count and tell me how many squares is number 3 away from the line of symmetry? Very good. It is 1 square away from the line of symmetry. Okay, so on the opposite side also we are going to count 1 square and we are going to mark number 3. Very good. Now let's go to number 5. Can you count and tell me how many steps is number 5 away from the line of symmetry? Very good. Number 5 is 2 squares away from the line of symmetry. So on the opposite side also we are going to count 2 squares and we are going to mark number 5. Now let's go to number 8. Come on children, count and tell me how many squares is number 8 away from the line of symmetry? 1, 2. Very good. So we are going to mark number 8, 2 squares away from the line of symmetry on the opposite side. Very good. What about number 11? How many squares is number 11 away from the line of symmetry? Very good. It is 1 square away from the line of symmetry. So we are going to mark number 11, 1 square away on the opposite side of the line of symmetry. So you see that we have marked the corners on the opposite side of the line of symmetry. Now students, we can see that the shape is complete. Okay, we have done step 3, that is we have joined all the markings together in the correct order to get the complete symmetrical shape. So when you join all the markings on the other side of the line of symmetry, you get a complete symmetrical shape. Students, for more practice, you can try to solve questions from the activity book, pages 144 and 145. Students, this is the answer key from the pupils book, page 145. This is the answer key from the activity book, pages 144 and 145. Thank you, dear parents, for all your hard work. Take care, children. Have a nice day.